Hey man, say man, it's that time of the week for me to talk about Four Knights of the Apocalypse. It's chapter 184, Percival versus Mystery Package, and for the cover image, we see Dubs in the Forge hard at work. And we see that he has like magic items and golems sort of helping him out during the process. As we can see in the background, there's this automated sort of golem furnace with writings on it, which is consuming materials which you could assume to help save time. And we see some of the works he's made in the corner there. And then we have two smaller golems holding down some material as Dubs is beating the shit out of it with his hammer, which I assume is also a magic tool. And this could be the process of him forging any of the gang's weapons. Really, it's full circular because look at the rounded part on the edge there. But yeah, let's get right into it. I'm excited for this chapter to see what this weapon is about. We go back into the event to see that it is the time for the first battle for the second round, and which Anne also notes as the debut of Percival's weapon, with Donnie still wanting him to spin back for him basically for the way he lost against Dubs. And Dubs is just there standing menacingly, no weapon or anything drawn, with Capadonic sort of humming while my goat Beltrap is just watching. And number one eater, Narcians, is cheering for Percival, with Percival waving back to them, and Theodora just staring like a hater, with Percival then asking Dubs how he uses the weapon, with Dubs just saying, "Hey bro, see for yourself," and that in theory is only designed for him to be able to handle it. He takes out this small little trinket that looks like a dragon, and then it seems to spin it. Oh, he froze it. My fault. What kind of curve shot is that? And he says, "Say hello to my scamp boy," which is a giant hammer, with Beltripe now sort of confirming to himself that maybe that mystery package is Dubs. And Dubs uses his weapon control to ignite the weapon like straight like the Fawn from Tower of God, and it just charges at Percival. So he blocks with his new sword, deflecting against it, as well as the sentient sword hammer seems to be really dogging him on. And slaps that guy whose name I keep on forgetting, and calls out that his Percival's new sword is gonna break at this rate. Percival deflects the hammer, with Dubs stating that it passes the quality inspection, and explains that it's twice as hard as diamond but is pliable as well, so it'll never really break, with Percival noting that there's not even a single nick on it, and that it's as strong as Lost Vein, Meliodas' own sacred treasure. Everyone's shocked that all the metal didn't damage it, and is astonished with Beltripe figuring out that mystery package is in fact Dubs. Percival is astounded by the durability, with Dubs telling him to not relax since they have to test his abilities. So then the Dragon Hammer Scamp Boy turns to Percival, opens its mouth, and starts shooting molten rock at him, which he completely slices and deflects with no issues. And look at the swordsman and shit, bro. It's so good to see a grown-ass Percival fighting with a sword. It's good to see Percival fighting with a sword, period, again. But oh my days, man, I love this. Some of the molten rocks get deflected even away. The deflected ones are just bombing the crowd. This is literally the dark tournament, no protection or anything. Percival notes that the sword feels kind of weird, and that the heat the sword took in is all gathering at the tip, and it's even spinning. While he's distracted by this, Narcians calls out to Percival because Scamp Boy is literally about to deck him, but then we see Percival slices it with full circular, shocking everyone, with Dubs explaining that one of full circular's traits is that the magic ring on its tip amplifies the element of an incoming attack and runs it across the blade, calling it Boost. Oh my goodness, that's actually so dope. So if theoretically, if Percival and Lancelot go into a fight again, and Percival sort of like, has full circular, he could literally just Loki just absorb and use any magical attack that Lancelot would throw at him, in terms of like Shining Road or whatever other techniques he may have once he gets his own weapon. Because if I had a nickel for every time a green-haired guy got into a fight with their light-haired colored best friend, and then the green-haired guy ended up dying at some point, I would have not one, not two, but 3 nickels. It's not a lot, but I'm sad that I have 3 nickels. Moving back to the chapter, the ability boost seems to be something only Percival can do, as Dubs explains that since he's a life spirit, he is someone with the power of eternal return and the endless cycle of life and death. Which is why the tip is a circular shape to oh my goodness, that's visual storytelling is immaculate. Capodonic starts blazing up our guy, saying that he's a phenomenon, but so is his sword, and that it's a menace, with everyone shocked how he melted the hammer with no issue. And Percival is starting to spin it around as well, stating he really likes it and that it's so free and easy to use, like it's part of his own body. Dubs then goes on to state that it's time for them to continue testing its abilities, using the Wonder Hood for something. Percival dashes at him. Well, look how giddy he is! But then suddenly Percival is strung up in the air. To see that Dubs partially unveiled his size to string up Percival like he's a damn doll. You know that one meme, Toy Story meme, where he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. This what that shit remind me of. And Dubs just bows him into the ground. Percival catches himself. Right as he looks up, he sees Dubs' hand weave and gets slapped, but he blocks it. With everyone wondering if Dubs is gonna overwhelm him at this point. And cheering for Percival not to let him be beat. Percival thinks to himself that the flame's already out, so he can't really use those again. But then remembers, obviously, bro, I'm a life spirit. He uses hope on full circular, making the spirits spin around and flow much easier. And right as Dubs is about to stomp him, everyone thinks that that's it. But we see that Percival is lifting Dubs with Dubs' foot with no issues, frozen flat on his back. With Dubs stating that Percival is a fast learner. And he just states that he thought infusing it with his life spirit force would just heal anyone he hit it with, but now he understands that this really is just good to amplify myself, and that is the second trait of full circular, and that it amplifies whatever magic force is placed in its blade, then returns it to your body to energize you. What was I saying last chapter? It is quite amazing, and that the trait is called potency. So we have boost and potency, and it seems it's announced that it's over, and Dubs is just upset. And this is where the chapter ends. And oh my goodness, what a way to debut a new weapon. And just seeing the way it's been used, incredible. I gotta stop using that shit, I swear. But yeah, this has been a great display of Percival's new weapon. I was, a little skeptical at first, seeing what it would be able to do. But the circular part on the edge representing life and death, the infinite cycle of that, and it suiting oh my days, this is actually incredible. This is a great weapon. I didn't know how Nakaba would come up with a weapon that would perfectly suit Percival, but full circular seems to be doing the job grandly at the moment. First with the fire, and now with boost and potency, it's more than enough to help Percival. But yeah, it seems I was right. With boost and potency, Percival it's like a fusion between like full counter and a core chouse as a weapon. With boost, it's basically a full counter, and with potency, it's basically core chouse's ability to heighten the person's physical abilities. So it's good for Percival in case of, like, let's say he faces a mage type opponent, they throw spells at him, he can literally just block with the weapon and literally just throw the magic back at them. But it seems, I'm assuming it will only work for one type of magic at a time, like how with full counter the ability is only effective if they can see the attack coming, and they can only full counter one attack at a time unless all the attacks are like synchronized to come at the person at once. So it'll be a good counter to most other magical abilities, and the durability on it makes it so that it literally will not break ever. There wasn't even a dent in it when Scamp Boy was going crazy on it. And generally, it's a weapon that Dubs is right, it suits him, because as a life spirit, he can just die and come back whenever he so wishes, and such represents the infinite cycle of life and death. And then the trait of potency, which amplifies his magic force, which is then returned into the body to further energize his physical abilities. Now, in my opinion, I feel like Percival could have thrown up dubs even without the effect of potency. Because Percival has always been physically stronger than most, even back when he was like a kid. When you see that one sort of small extra chapter, Percival just a baby Percival just walking is able to push Vargreaves' giant ass with no issues. So that might come from special. I believe he could, and now that he's older and bigger, I believe Percival probably could have actually thrown dubs off if he tried. But it's a great weapon regardless. It suits Percival fantastically. And yes, I'm just so glad that our boy has a weapon in hand again. It has been so long, man. It's been so long since he's got himself a proper weapon. So I'm wondering, when everything's said and done, will Tristan keep the dragon handle, or will Percival take it back and end up just, be dual wielding with full circular and the Percival sword? I don't see Percival as much of a dual wielder unless it comes to a point where he decides to follow in Lancelot's footsteps and just try fighting mostly with his left hand at first. To be fair, when he did first come back to life, he was using his magic blade with his left hand, so maybe he will undergo his own become ambidextrous training. Same with Gawain. Maybe it'll come to a point where the most efficient thing for the four knights would be for all of them to be able to dual wield or something. But regardless, that's all I have to say on the chapter. This was great. I love full circular. The design still has to grow on me a little bit. I want to see more fights with it. And yeah, that will move us on to next week's chapter 185, if there's a chapter next week, where we'll see the Dora fight against Nasians, with all the changes that have come with the Dora. So yeah, until then, guys, take care. Till next time.
A nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man. I be feeling like one of them ball playing niggas, like Bird, Magic or something.